Hey, it's Lisa from growkidsminds.com, and today we are going to talk about challenges. So last week I talked a lot about grit and I guess not giving up and why grit's really important for children and adults. I mean, it's important for all of us. It's once we have that grit and that determination and we persevere through something, we have a breakthrough. And I see it a lot with the business clients that I coach, and also obviously with the children. There's always breakthroughs there and they're amazing. So today I just wanted to go a little bit more over challenges. It kind of backs up, I guess, to grit and dives a little bit more into just acknowledging that they exist. So life really is a challenge in itself. You know, life is made up of multiple different challenges, and not everyone, if anyone, will fly through life without just killed a little bug. Not anyone, if anyone at all, will go through life without experiencing some kind of challenge, if not multiple challenges. And it's important for us as adults to make sure that we acknowledge those challenges are there and they're normal. And also we don't protect the kids from seeing those challenges. I mean, obviously we might not want them to see every segment of it, depending on what the challenge is, but it's important for the kids to see that those challenges do exist in our life. It's not all airy-fairy and everything's la 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 all of the time. There's a challenge there because we want them not just to see the challenge, but how we deal with it. And one thing that I can say I notice a lot with people that I coach specifically is the way that they approach a challenge almost always determines the outcome of that problem. And you'll see the same happen in the kids. So, and even back in the day in parent-teacher interviews, you know, if I'm seeing a problem with a child, when I go to a parent-teacher interview or I call a meeting with that parent, oftentimes I will be experiencing the same mindset and the same conversation with the parent. So it's never ever a surprise if it's happening here that it's going to be happening there. So you want to be mindful of that. As adults, we have that choice and we have the cognitive ability to make those choices. And always remember that, you know, our kids are little sponges, whether you're actively speaking to them about it or they're just seeing it in passing, they're picking it up. And oftentimes it's the things that we're not trying to teach them about that they pick up. So just be mindful of these sorts of things. All right, so what I want to talk about was reframing the way you look at challenges. And if we can get that part right, everything is going to make life easier for everybody. You, your partner, your family, your kids. It'll make their lives easier. You know, it'll just carry down. You know, I always say the cycle repeats, and whether the cycle repeats in a positive way or a negative way is up to you, but it's going to repeat. So, okay, so challenges, we want to make sure, A, we're acknowledging that the challenge exists, and that's okay. And we're looking at it, and I'm even saying the word challenge. It's a challenge. It's not a problem. Sometimes it's a problem, but I like to use the word challenge. Like right now, we have this problem. Or we can say, right now, this is the challenge we're facing. One tiny little word changes the whole meaning. Problem usually has a negative connotation to it, or issue is a big word that we use these days. Oh, this is the issue. Negative connotation. But if we're saying this is the challenge I'm facing, it's a bit more positive, you know. Or some people that are even a little step above that might say this is the opportunity. So even if it's something negative, it's an opportunity for something else, or an opportunity to grow from that negative thing that's happening. So we want to make sure we're reframing the thoughts in our mind on the language that we're using, but also that we're focused on a solution. So let's go really extreme and say your partner's parent or your parent or whoever, they've lost their job. Okay, that's it, or lost their job, they've been fired, they've been made redundant, whatever the case may be, they're not employed anymore. So that would be considered a problem for some people because suddenly there's no money, there's no stability, you know, maybe they don't know whether they can get another job or not. There's all of this unknown and these unknown factors. So that's a major problem. Or we can say the challenge we're facing right now is that, we don't know where the next pay is going to come from. And that's a challenge. So we need to work through that. Or you can look at it and say, this is an opportunity. I didn't really like my job anyway, so it's an opportunity now for me to go and get a job I like, or be around work people that I enjoy, or do that activity that I've been wanting to do but couldn't. So there's just those different words, like problem, or it's a challenge or an opportunity. So changing the language is the first thing, and then the next thing is looking for a solution. So if you're worried about income, the challenge is where's our next paycheck coming from, then the solution needs to be focused on, okay, I need to go and get this type of job that pays this sort of money. And so your solution focus, how am I going to replace that income? If it's an opportunity, because maybe you get to do something now that you didn't do before, then your solution might be around, okay, now I'm going to restructure my life to fit the things that are important to me in, and then the money will come as it needs to in other ways. But the solution is the next focus. So first is our language, how we're talking about it. Second is we're looking for a solution. We're not complaining, I lost my job, my boss is an idiot, that person that worked under me, they should have lost their job first, I've been there longer than them. You can't change any of that. It's already happened. So if you can't change it, there's no point worrying about it. And if you're complaining about it, you're not solving it. Again, no point worrying about it. So, of course, there's always got to be that little bit of complaint, but then we get over it. Like you can't stay in that place. If you stay in that place, it's always going to be a problem. You're always going to be stuck there. So in order for you to move forward and make sure that your kids learn how to move forward, then you need to be able to go, okay, I've had my little whinge. Now my next thing is, what's the solution to this? What do I need to do to get where I need to go? And then you start working towards it. So your kids are watching this happen. They're watching you use the language around the job loss or whoever's lost their job. They're watching you, maybe have a little complaint about it. And then they're watching what happens from there. So do I find a solution and keep moving forward? What are the steps mum or dad or aunt or uncle or nan, whoever is taking to then get to that point? And then how do they deal with it? Because, it's all well and good for us to go, I need to go and get a job that does this and these hours and this pay and these benefits and. But it doesn't always happen. So if it doesn't happen, then what do you do? Because sometimes things don't happen how you want them to. And then you need to be able to also go, okay, that didn't quite work out. And maybe I need to pivot and move this way. Or maybe I need to change the hours that I'm willing to work, or the amount of pay I'm willing to take, or the location that I want the job to be. Like I might have to renegotiate something like that to still get the other stuff that I want. And that's okay. So your kids are going to be picking those things up. Language, making sure that you're looking for a solution, working towards that solution. And if it doesn't work out, how well do you pivot and move on to the next best thing? And this is so important. And I'm seeing this right now. One of the kids is one of my step kids has come to live with us full time, and a lot of the stuff that we're talking about now with him is mindset based, because he hasn't maybe had that experience as much at the other house, and obviously I'm more, I don't want to say more skilled in it, but it's my focus. So obviously when it's your focus, you're going to be better at it than other people. And that's okay. That's why people come to me. So for me, it's all about getting him to improve his mindset, reframe and reset the way he's looking at things to help him. And one of the things that we're coming across is if a challenge comes up, he either wants to give up or he wants it that one way. And when it doesn't happen that one way, it's almost like he falls to pieces. Like there's no, he hasn't, I guess, experienced or seen or been modeled for what happens when something doesn't go exactly how I want. What do I do then? So for us now, as the parents that he's living with at the moment, the main focus really is, okay, things don't always work out how you want to. So what do I do when they don't work out? Let's see how mum and dad or stepmom and dad deal with that didn't quite work out. Now I've got to go and let's do this instead. Are they complaining and whinging and carrying on that it didn't happen? Are they falling down in a heap? Or are they just acknowledging, you know what, that didn't quite work out. So maybe I need to just redirect this bit a little bit and then move forward again. All right, I hope that makes sense for everyone. So main things, of course, everyone's going to come across challenges. We want to acknowledge challenges are part of life. That is really life. It's all about challenges and how we deal with them. And the thing that we can control is how we deal with them. You know, you can't deal with them coming up. You can't deal with what they're going to be, but you can control that side of how do I deal with it. Okay, so we're going to acknowledge challenges exist and they're okay. We are going to make sure that we are solution focused and looking for the best option moving forward. We're then going to make sure that we're modeling how to work towards that. And then when it doesn't happen, how do we move from there? Do we go back to the complaining side, or do we continue on that challenge opportunity side just by moving slightly and continuing forward? All right, and sometimes it's also just showing that we have to keep repeating until we get where we want to be. And that's part of challenges as well. You know, we might not get there the first time, but we've got to keep going to get there in the end. All right, so that's it from me, Lisa, growkidsminds.com. If you need anything, you can find us in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I don't know, we're everywhere, just under Grow Kids Minds. So if you need anything, you can message us there. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you next week.